Okay, now, at first, I like to share the words of Shinran Shonin from the preface of his master work, Kyōgyō Shinshu, the true teaching, practice, and realization. And this is on page 3 of collected works of Shinran. So please join me in gassho. Please put your palms together again. The auspicious name embodying the perfectly fulfilled supreme virtues is true wisdom that transforms our evil into virtue. And that the diamond-like Shinjin, so difficult to accept, is true reality that sweeps away doubt and brings us to attainment of enlightenment. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Good morning, everyone. And welcome to today's spring Ohigan service. And I feel like I'm a sport player of any kind. I was away for about 2 weeks, right? And we didn't have service one Sunday in February, and I was in Seattle for Northwest District convention. So I was away for the other stadium or team, and I finally came back to the home ground, right? So I'm really glad to be here today. And I was at Wailuku Hongwanji mission in Maui 2 weeks ago for their spring Ohigan service and their lectures. And I was requested to talk about not too difficult thing. So I tried to talk about basic Buddhism teachings like Four Noble Truths and Eightfold Noble Paths, and how we understand these teachings, or how we apply these teachings in Shin Buddhism. And as you know, the Four Noble Truths is simple teaching of truths of causes and conditions. I talked about it many times, so I'm sure you remember it. But, okay, first one. Dukkha. Okay, dukkha, or suffering. Okay, so dukkha is often translated as suffering, right? But more like unsatisfactoriness or dissatisfaction we feel. Okay? Number 2. Yes, cause of suffering or cause of dukkha. We feel unsatisfactoriness or dissatisfaction because of our self-attachment or self-centered mind to control over people and things. Resolution, that's good. Nirvana, right? Resolution, okay. So that is freedom, liberation from dukkha. And number 4, Eightfold Path. So that's it. Yep. Number 4. This is a path to nirvana, freedom or liberation from dukkha. And as Al mentioned, often the path is referred as the Eightfold Noble Path. So that many people misunderstand the Eightfold Noble Path is the practice of Buddhism. But, we are able to understand Eightfold Noble Path in Shin Buddhism way. But when we think about who Shakyamuni Buddha taught this Eightfold Noble Path to, we realize that is a path taught for the monks. Okay? When we imagine climbing up the mountains, there's not only one route, one path to get to the summit. There are many paths to get to the summit. So it is said Shakyamuni Buddha taught 84,000 teachings, which means we have 84,000 paths to get to the summit of nirvana. Some needs a lot of equipment and preparation to climb up. Some are really steep and difficult paths. But imagine if there's a gondola coming directly from the summit to the bottom of the mountain and take us to the summit. So that's really easy, right? We just hop on and take the gondola up to the summit. And this is not only easy way, but also we have more time to see around what is actually surrounding our lives. Because we don't have to worry about how to get to the summit. We have more time to really focus on here and now. Okay, this is the path of Nembutsu. And we never been to the summit of the mountain, so we don't know what it's like. How many people have been to Kyoto? Okay, so you know what Kyoto is like. But how many of you haven't been to Kyoto? Can you describe what Kyoto is like? No, right? If you haven't been to the place you've never been, it's hard to describe it. But the nirvana itself took the form as Tathagata. Okay? Nirvana itself took the form as Tathagata. Tathagata means come from oneness, suchness, or nirvana, and came from the summit of mountain of nirvana to reach to us. So that the name Namo Amida Butsu, that's the name, it's a manifestation of nirvana itself, and it is like gondola coming from the summit of the mountain to the bottom. And when we ride on the gondola, we hear the announcements or guidance about what the summit is like. You know, this mountain is how many feet high, and from the summit you can see whatever things around, that kind of announcements. And we realize how it is different from the bottom of the mountain. So the announcement in the gondola is like the guidance of Buddha within Nembutsu. Buddha teaches us how the realm of enlightenment, the realm of non-discriminative wisdom is different from our world, and make us realize how our world is a world of delusion, self-centeredness, and the world of discriminative wisdom. And until we heard about the realm of enlightenment, oneness or non-discrimination, we never thought about how we are living selfishly. You know, we judge people and things by our own sense of values and say, I don't like that person because he or she doesn't listen to me. Or I like that person because he or she listens to what I say. And we never felt shame for relying on our self-centered values. But by encountering the teaching of Nembutsu, we begin to realize the faults of relying on our self-centered mind and making blind passions, such as 3 poisons. Do you remember 3 poisons? Greed, anger, stupidity, or ignorance. And also, there's one blind passions or desires called self-conceit and self-love. So we have 3 poisons: self-conceit, self-love. And we are making it as the master of our mind. We are driving ourselves with this mind. But by encountering the teaching of Nembutsu, we begin to realize that the calling of Buddha in Nembutsu as true and real. So the name Namo Amida Butsu teaches us the truth of our lives. Namo Amida Butsu becomes the cause to make us realize the truth of dukkha and the cause of dukkha. So Namo Amida Butsu is a calling of Amida Tathagata to wake us up to the nature of ourselves becoming self-centered. And this is also the calling of Amida Tathagata saying, that is why I'm not abandoning you. Please say Nembutsu and born into my land. So ultimately, we are able to reach to the summit of Nirvana, reach to the Pure Land, or Skabadi, or the realm of enlightenment, oneness, non-discrimination, any kind of words we can think of. But we can reach to the Pure Land by the working of Namo Amida Butsu. But we continue to be ordinary being full of blind passions in this life. So difference is that whether we are guided by the wisdom of Buddha or living selfishly, driven by the blind passions. And this is what I heard from the people. But I was in Arizona last week. And Arizona is more conservative compared to West Coast. And there are some racists. That's what I hear. And last week we had BCA ministers and National Council meeting in Phoenix, Arizona. And one night we were on to go to dinner. So about 6 or 7 ministers from Japan got together and went to eat together to the restaurant. And we only have once or twice a year to get together and talk in Japanese and, share what we are doing at the temple kind of thing. So we were enjoying the dinner. Then one of the ministers said, the 2 Caucasian men at the bar were frowning at us. Looking at. Frown, right? Frown. F-R-O-W-N. Okay, frown at us. Since we came here, and now they left. So if we rely on our self-centered viewpoint, then we could understand them, we could understood them as racist who don't like Asian people. But we never know. We cannot determine the other's feeling. We might have been too loud, and they probably wanted to have quiet time, so they left. So we could be the one who should be shamed, who should be feeling the shame to our behavior. So this is the guidance of Amida Tathagata's wisdom that gives us to be more flexible, not attaching to one-sided idea. We are ordinary beings that we tend to judge people by their appearances or facial expressions. But the wisdom of Buddha teaches us that we should not attach to our own sense of value of judgments. I was thinking about talking about this next week, but what happened in Christchurch in New Zealand. That is caused by self-attachment of own value of judgment. The man who killed 49 people, he had an idea that white man or white person should be above any person or any race. That's really one-sided idea. But when we encounter the teaching of Buddhism, Buddha's wisdom, we become more soft and gentle, to be flexible. We are not going to attach to one-sided idea anymore. This is the beauty of the Buddhism teaching, what I think. But I will talk about it in detail next week, so you should come back next week, okay? But anyway, so at the Northwest District Conference a few weeks ago, there was a man who threw a question to Bishop Umezu. He said, if we are already saved by Amida, why we should even try? If we are already saved by Amida, why we should even try? So Bishop Umezu pointed Reverend Miyaji to answer that question. And I don't remember how Reverend Miyaji answered to that question, so I don't remember his answer. But Shin Buddhism, Jodo Shinshu, is not about how we reach to the summit. But by riding the gondola of Nembutsu, we become more introspective person of self-reproach, and also the person of gratitude and appreciation to Amida Tathagata and the surroundings, which makes our lives as our lives. So Nembutsu teaching is a teaching, turns our way of life, our way of thinking, from being self-centered driven by blind passion, to become the person of Nembutsu, who is a person of introspection and appreciation. So on this occasion of Ohigan service, the other shore service, please be mindful of the working from the other shore. It could be the summit, realm of enlightenment, oneness, non-discrimination in Nembutsu, to make us realize the nature of our self-centeredness and the importance of being introspective and being appreciative person. Okay, so thank you all for coming today. And in closing, please join me in Gassho. Please put your palms together. The auspicious name embodying the perfectly fulfilled spring virtues is true wisdom that transforms our evil into virtue, and that the diamond-like Shinjin, so difficult to accept, is true reality that sweeps away doubt and brings us to attainment of enlightenment. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Nam.